Okay, so the third way that we are going to solve a system of equations is through the process of elimination. So we've done graphing and we've done substitution. This is our other algebraic method, which is elimination. And what that means is you are literally going to eliminate one of the variables. So we'll either eliminate the x or eliminate the y mathematically, of course, not magically. We can't just erase them, but mathematically we will do it. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that your like terms are lined up in the two equations like this. The x's, the y's, and the constants, of course, are lined up. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add these together. So we're going to add our like terms straight down. Now, if you notice, I have a negative 6y and a positive 6y, and that's going to equal 0. You can do the odd line if you want so that you can see it like that. So now 5x plus 3x is 8x. Negative 6y plus 6y is 0. Negative 32 plus 48 is 16. 8x plus 0 is just 8x. So now this is a one step, I can solve very quickly to get that x equals 2. So now I have x equals 2. I still, however, need to find y. So we will go back and use substitution now. I will substitute 2 in for x into one of these equations, one of my originals. It doesn't matter which one, and I will solve for y. Really, we don't have one any easier than the other, but we have to go through and do that. So if I move over here, so yeah, it's going to take a lot of paper and a lot of writing, but we have to do it. I'm going to plug it into this one. So it's going to become 3 times 2 plus 6y equals 48. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 6y equals 48. Now I have a normal two-step that I can go ahead and solve. Subtract, I get 42, divide by 6, and y equals 7. So there's my answer. Y equals 7. So eliminate to solve for one variable, plug back in to solve for the other. Okay, now I can check my answer since of course I can plug it back into this one. So since I solved with this one, I'm going to go ahead and plug it into that one. Does 5 times 2 plus negative 6 times 7 give me negative 32? 10 plus negative 42 does give you negative 32, so it in fact checks. Okay, so let's try another one. So here you can see that I have opposites right here, that 3 plus negative 3x is going to equal 0. So instead of canceling out the y's this time, I'll be eliminating the x's. So 3x plus negative 3x is 0. 4y plus 2y is 6y. 16 plus 8 is 24. So what I have is 6y equals 24. This is an easy one step. Y equals 4. Now, this time we found y first and we have to find x second. So now I'm going to substitute 4 in for y in one of these equations, solve for x. Again, it doesn't matter which one I pick. I'm going to go ahead and pick the top one just to avoid the negative. So I have 3x plus 4 times 4, because I'm substituting that 4 in for y, equals 16. 3x plus 16 equals 16. Go ahead and solve. 3x equals 0. Divide by 3. X equals 0. So my final answer is x equals 0. Y equals 4. I plug back into the other one to check, which I'm not going to do in the video for time's sake. Okay. Now, what happens if you don't have variables that are opposites? So in both those examples I gave you, we had y's that were already opposites and x's that were already opposites, and that won't always happen. For example, okay, here, Okay, you can do the add line, so you have negative 7y. These are not opposites. That will not equal 0 if I add these together. Oops, that's supposed to be an x. These are not opposites. They will not equal 0 if I add them together. I have to manipulate one of the equations to get opposites. So what you want to look at, can I multiply 3 by a number? So this is negative 7. I want this to be positive 7. Can I multiply 3 by a number to get 7? No. So I'm going to ignore the y's. Here, this is positive 10x. Can I multiply negative 5 by a number to get negative 10 so that I have an opposite? Yes, I could multiply this by positive 2. So what I'm going to do is rewrite my entire system over here. The top one is going to remain exactly the same. I'm not going to touch it. This one, I need to multiply that by 2 to get it to be negative 10x. But as you guys know with an equation, you have to keep everything balanced. So if I'm going to multiply that by 2, I have to multiply that by 2 and that by 2. So 3y times 2 is 6y. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. So this is now my system that I'm going to go ahead and add together. Okay, so that equals 0. This is negative 1y, and that is negative 4. So I have negative 1y equals negative 4. So y equals positive 4. If I divide by negative 1. So I have that y equals 4. Now I need to plug back in, and I need to solve for x. And I'm going to want to do that on one of my originals. I don't want to do that on my manipulated. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in to that top one there. Okay, so just because I'm running out of room on camera, I'm going to erase this. Okay, so now I'm going to plug back in. I have 10x plus negative 7, y is 4, so I'm going to plug 4 in, equals 2. So I have 10x plus negative 28 equals 2. Go ahead and solve this. Add 28, 10x equals 30, divide by 10, x equals 3. So my final answer is x equals 3 and y equals 4. I'm going to do one more example of that. Okay, again, I don't have opposites here. This will not equal 0 and that will not equal 0. So what I'm going to do is, can I multiply negative 3 by a number to get the opposite of 4? No. Can I multiply negative 4 by a number to get the opposite of 8? Yes, again, it's 2. It will not always be multiplying by 2. It just happens to be that that's what's happening in these two examples. So I'm going to have to multiply everything down here by 2. So the top one will remain the same. And the bottom one, negative 4x times 2 is negative 8x. 4 times 2 is 8y. And 8 times 2 is 16. So now when I add them, that is 0. That's going to be 5y. That will be 20. So I have 5y equals 20. So y equals 4. But I still have to find x. So in order to find x, I have to plug back in, substitute back in. I'm going to choose the top one. So I have 8x and y is 4. 8x, that's going to be negative 12. Add 12. 8x equals 16. Divide by 8. And x equals 2. So that is how you solve using elimination.